Hi, I'm Will, and today we're going to talk about formulas. If you're a spreadsheet lover like I am, then you know formulas are what make spreadsheet the most versatile and powerful tool around. You can do anything in a spreadsheet. So we're excited to introduce formulas into Gigasheet, and today we're going to walk through using formulas to do calculations, to do an if statement, and to do some operations on text. Now, if you haven't heard of Gigasheet, we're the big data spreadsheet. Gigasheet can open files that you can't even open in Microsoft Excel, Google Sheets. If you look at my screen right here, you can see there's 2 million rows of sample data here. And the reason Gigasheet opened that file is because even though it looks like a spreadsheet, there's really a database running in the background. Familiar with traditional spreadsheet formulas, then you'll know that they reference individual cells. So if I'm trying to calculate year-over-year unit growth, I would say, all right, cell D3 minus C3 divided by C3 times 100, and that's going to give me my year-over-year growth percent. And then I have to take this formula and I have to drag it down, or I have to copy and paste it down. That's because everything is based on individual cells. In Gigasheet, since we're running a database in the background, we're going to focus our formulas on columns. So we would say 2022 sales minus 2021 sales, and reference the whole column, and then the formula will run across the whole column. This is because you can't drag down 2 million cells. All right, instead of 10 rows, we're going to do the same calculation, but on 2 million rows. In Gigasheet, to insert a formula, you can either come to the Functions menu and choose Formula, or just simply click the plus out to the right of the columns and type in the new column name. We're going to call this year-over-year growth, and we're going to begin our formula. Parentheses indicate the calculation you want to do first, so we're going to subtract 2022 from 2021. So let's select our column from the drop-down, quantity sold 2022, insert it, and then we're going to say minus, and we're going to do 2021, insert. Now we've got our growth rate. They're both blue, which means that it sees the column. So instead of referencing cells, we're referencing columns. Close our parentheses, then we're going to divide by the 2021 amount. This time, instead of using our selector, I can just type in quantity sold 2021. And as you can tell, as I type, it turns blue. That means it's recognized the column. So and then times 100. And you can just type in numbers in formulas as well. And then I hit add column, and it's going to do the calculation on all 2 million cells in my sheet, and insert a column to the right with my year-over-year growth. So we're going to give it 1 second while it calculates on 2 million cells, and voila, our new column is highlighted here in blue. That's how you do calculations using formulas in Gigasheet. All right, now that we've calculated the year-over-year growth, let's create some conditions so that we can bucket the data. Very common thing in sales and marketing. So one way to do it in Gigasheet is to use our visual if-then feature, where you can create a condition and put in a value, but that's not the point of this video. We're going to do it using a formula. So I will add a column, and I'm going to call this growth rate, and we're going to start an if statement. So I can choose if, and then I'm going to put in my my condition, right? Year-over-year growth. And I'm going to say if your year growth is less than 0, then let's put the word negative. Now, we're going to put another if inside of this if. So that's if your year growth is negative, then we're going to nest the if and say, now, if year-over-year growth is less than 100, then we're going to say medium. We're a high growth company here. And lastly, else, we're going to put high. So anything greater than 100 is going to just default to high. So this should fill out a column with the values negative, medium, or high. And it says invalid formula, and that is because when you nest ifs, there are 2 left-facing parentheses, and I need to add another close parenthesis. So now the formula is valid, and you'll see that the Add Column button is available. I'm going to add my growth rate column to Gigasheet, and it's going to go and calculate this if statement on all 2 million rows. And you can see at the top, the bar is turning purple, which is sort of indicating that it's running. And in 1 minute, we will have our growth rate. And here it goes. It has added the column to the end, and you can see we have either high, medium, or negative. Now, the cool thing about using the if statement with buckets is that now I can group my sheet by my growth rate column, and I can see that 750,000 rows are high, I've got 665,000 negative, and I've got 583 in the mediums category. So pretty neat way of bucketing data using formulas and groups. Okay, we've used formulas for calculations and if statements. Now let's try something with text or strings. So let's add a column here, and let's say we want to generate links to all of our products that are in our file. So let's call this the URL, and we're going to use the concatenate formula, which will append columns together. And you can also append just strings. So what we're going to start with is our URL for our Gigastore, / and then we're going to close the quote, and then we're going to choose a column here. We're going to say that our URLs for our products go product category and then SKU. So let's put a let's merge in a slash, put the quote, the slash around it, put another comma, and then we're going to put our SKU number here. And what you can see, the way that you read this formula is it's going to say concat https gigastore.com, and then we're going to do the product category, and then we're going to put in a slash, and then we're going to put in a SKU, and that should be a URL. So let's run that on all 2 million rows. Okay, so now we have gigastore.com, and it's premium face / SKU. And in our imaginary store, that's going to take us right to the page for the premium face product. Now, let's say, well, URLs don't have spaces, right? We know that's wrong. We can also use formulas to clean up text. So we've built the URL. Now let's build another URL. Let's call this the real URL. And we are going to use the substitute function. And we're going to substitute, and we're going to tell it on the column URL, we're going to substitute, and here's our help text here. It's going to search for, and we're going to tell it to search for blank. And you just do that by putting quote, blank quote. And we're going to replace it with %20, which is the URL escape character for a space. Now we're going to say on the column URL, substitute any blank with %20. And we're going to call this the real URL. It's going to run, and it's going to create a new column called real URL, and it's going to be actual URLs without spaces. Pretty neat. So here we go. Let's look at them. We can see that now we had gigastore.com premium face. Now we have gigastore.com premium %20 space. And that's your space face, and there's our real URL. So now you could come over here and you could either hide the URL, or you could come up here and you could delete the URL, the spaces, and delete it forever. Yes, but now we've used formulas to edit text. So you can see the power of formulas in Gigasheet. You can do calculations, you can do conditionals, you can do string functions, concatenate, replace. Very powerful. This is why we love spreadsheets, and this is why we love the big data spreadsheet, because this whole time we've been doing it on 2 million rows. Thanks, everybody.